Hi, I'm Rachelle Semplonius. Here's your Skedlive news for the day. 2 of 3 QP 3903 units representing the York University workers rejected a tentative agreement. York has been on strike for almost a week. Teaching assistants, research assistants, and contract faculty are pushing for better wages, job security, and lower tuition fees. Nearly 13,000 members of QP cast their ballots in the ratification vote, while most of the members of the union were chanting, "Vote no." Classes remain canceled. Now for the weather with Melis Mevlutoglu.
Thank you, Rachelle. It seems like March is doing us a favor. It's starting to warm up. I don't know if we can get away with shorts just yet, but hopefully that's coming soon. Today is going to be partly cloudy with a high of 9 and a low of 2. I went out and spoke to some Humber students to see what they thought about today's weather.
I think it's great today. I could actually wear a nice thin coat, and I can even leave it unzipped. It's fantastic. Good weather.
Well, it's getting warmer, I think, and I'm kind of happy that winter is almost over.
But the spring is coming a little bit earlier in Russia, so there's a seasonal shift here in comparison with Russia.
Even though it might be a bit chilly, let's be happy we have positive digits today. Wednesday will be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 5 and a low of 0. Thursday will be mainly sunny with a high of 1 and a low of -4. Friday will be much of the same with a high of 3 and a low of -4. Saturday, we have a chance of showers with a high of 3 and a low of 0. On Sunday, we will be back to a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 3 and a low of -1. That's all for your 5-day forecast. I'm Melis Mevlutoglu. Now back to the studio.
Thank you, Melis. Today marks John Tory's 100th day in office as Toronto's mayor. Polls say 2 in 3 Torontonians approve of Tory's performance as mayor. His initiatives in office include restoring the public's confidence in their city, getting their traffic moving, and expanding the TTC. City Hall has certainly been quieter under his mayoralty, which followed the high-profile scandals of the Rob Ford years. With today's Toronto Council meeting, Tory's first budget will be announced. Now, reporter Alex Karageorgis talks to Humber students about the start of the Humber Student Federation elections.
Humber College Lakeshore campus kicked off the HSF election week voting period with a new twist. While election staff put the finishing touches on information stands and polling stations, students now have the opportunity to look over candidate sheets and platform booklets before casting their ballots.
This theme is the 90s theme, so we have Power Rangers, hacky sacks, you name it, 90s and it's here.
With election season comes signs promoting one candidate over the next, but this time, contenders seeking your vote are taking a different approach to campaigning. Their platforms and promises is just writing on the wall, literally spelled out for prospective voters to see.
It feels good. It feels kind of, I was surprised because I thought for sure that other people would have voted by now, but I guess not.
As incentive to vote, Humber is giving students the chance to win a grand prize.
Voters get the chance to win one of 2 pairs of tickets to see TLC, Nelly, and the New Boys on the Block concert at the Air Canada Centre.
As an attempt to increase votership numbers, new boards around campus are also popping up to remind students where they can vote.
As a student body, we pay a certain fee, and I think you should have a right in how your money is spent, and by using your vote, you can decide, whose platform you'd like to support, and you essentially play a part in the changes that happen.
Voting ends this Friday. Alex Karageorgis, skedline.com.
Now for entertainment with Ronan O'Doherty.
Hey there, I'm Ronan O'Doherty, and here's your entertainment news for today. Topping the list is everybody's favorite unrealistic reality show, The Bachelor. Chris Soules, in a manner that's not contrived whatsoever, proposed to 29-year-old Whitney Bischoff on the finale last night. Bischoff is a fertility nurse from Chicago who loves kids and animals. To keep viewers interested, the network made an announcement about next season's Bachelorette. Turns out, in a somewhat desperate attempt to mix things up, there will be not one, but two bachelorettes for a group of men to fight over. In other TV news, Apple and HBO are teaming up for the launch of HBO Now. For the first 3 months of the partnership, Apple will have exclusive rights among digital distributors. The service will start on April 12th, which coincides with the return of HBO's hit series Game of Thrones. Consumers will be able to watch the shows on their iPhones and iPads, and a special HBO Now channel will be available on Apple TV. The cost for access to HBO's entire back catalog, like Sopranos and 6 Feet Under, will be $14.99 a month in the United States. Of course, the service will not be available in Canada right now, and there's been no announcement as to when it will be. In a response to hardcore Ghostbuster fans expressing some displeasure with a proposed remake with an all-female cast, Sony has announced an all-male companion piece. No stranger to all-male companion pieces, Channing Tatum's name has been tied to the project. The Russo brothers, who had a lot of success helming the latest Captain America film, have also been mentioned as possible producers and directors. Under the Ghost Corps banner, Sony has given original Ghostbusters architects, Ivan Reitman and Dan Aykroyd, full reign to flesh out the franchise, with possible TV shows and a whole lot of merchandising on the horizon. Simpsons co-creator Sam Simon has died after a battle with colorectal cancer. He was 59. Simon created The Simpsons with Matt Groening and James L. Brooks in 1989. He wrote a dozen episodes and won 9 Emmys. Simon left the show in '93, but retained an executive producer title. In recent years, he gained renown for his philanthropy. An avid animal lover, Simon was known for buying zoos and circuses in order to set their animals free. Songstress Ariana Grande took a tumble while performing in Toronto on Sunday. A fan's video shows Grande tripping and falling to her knees while performing Bang Bang. She didn't appear to hurt much more than her pride, though, and kept right on singing. In other music news, Arcade Fire frontman Win Butler has released a solo album. The album is called Policy and is Butler's first solo effort. Policy is a mixed bag of styles from punk to synth pop to rockabilly, as Butler experiments with his newfound freedom. He will be performing tracks from the album on March 27th at Toronto's Horseshoe Tavern. On a more serious note, rapper 50 Cent's 2-year-old son Sire signed a modeling contract for a staggering sum of $700,000. 50 announced the signing on Angie Martinez's morning show. Sire will be modeling for Kids Safe, a not-for-profit charity organization that, according to their website, aims to provide parents and kids with the essential tools to protect them from child abuse, abduction, and other forms of victimization. For Skedline Entertainment, I'm Ronan O'Doherty. Back to you, Rachelle.
Thank you, Ronan. Canadian Sergeant Andrew Durant was killed in friendly fire in Iraq. Durant was known as a passionate soldier dedicated to protecting Canada against terrorism, and his death marked Canada's first casualty as a part of a new U.S.-led coalition to fight the insurgent group ISIS. When he died, he was assisting Iraq Kurdish forces. The Canadian government and Kurdish officials are at odds over what happened. Kurdish officials say Durant was killed after he arrived on the front line. Unannounced, whereas a high-level Canadian government source says Durant was a couple hundred meters away from the front line and was a part of a prearranged plan with Kurdish troops which went awry. Meanwhile, Texas police are on the lookout for suspects who killed 36-year-old Iraqi man Ahmed al-Jumel. He was taking pictures of the snow outside his Walnut Bend apartment complex in Dallas, Texas. 3 weeks earlier, al-Jamal's wife greeted him at the airport with a sign that said, "I've waited 460 days, 11,040 hours, and 662,400 minutes for this moment. Welcome home." Questions are being raised if this is a hate crime towards American Muslims. Public Safety Minister Stephen Blaney began a committee review of his government's proposed new anti-terror measures. Bill C-51 involves the usage of information sharing powers. Critics say these could invade Canadians' privacy, but the Conservative government says they're needed to protect Canadians from terrorist attacks. Now for sports with Nuran Yumnu.
Hi, I'm Nuran Yumnu, and here's your sports update for today. 10 people are dead in a helicopter crash early this morning in northwestern Argentina. 2 helicopters were flying very close together while they were shooting a reality TV show called Dropped. After the 2 helicopters crashed in mid-air, all 10 passengers were killed instantly. Killed in the crash were 3 French Olympic stars, 5 members of the French production team, and 2 Argentinian pilots. The most recognizable names are the French Olympians, French Olympic gold medal winning swimmer Camille Mouffet, Olympic boxer Alexis Fastine, and sailor Florence Athroad. The families and friends of the dead are also said to be very devastated by the accident. The Toronto Blue Jays have begun their first run of spring cuts. Blue Jays players left handler Jason Aquino and catcher Derek Chung were sent to minor league camp. Currently, Toronto has 65 players remaining, which include 32 pitchers, 6 catchers, 18 infielders, and 9 outfielders. The Toronto Blue Jays played an exhibition game yesterday against the Houston Astros and lost 1-0. Back in Toronto, the Maple Leafs lost the New York Islanders last night 4-3. John Tavares is an Oakville native and scored 1 goal and contributed with 1 assist against the Leafs last night. Tyler Kennedy was traded from Pittsburgh and Michael Neuvirth was picked up from Buffalo. Tonight, Raptors will play against the San Antonio Spurs. The Raptors are sitting at 3rd place in the East, coming off loss against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday. The San Antonio Spurs are 7th in the Western Conference. The Raptors beat the Spurs at home earlier this year for the first time in 5 years on February 8th. As the Canadian Women's Hockey League begins later this year, the league has big plans for their 8th season. One of our Skedline reporters, Alex Karageorges, covers this story. Check out skedline.com for more. The Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race kicks off their competition, but with little snow. The medal-winning dogs are used to running in 20-inch high snow, but this year had left them running in slush. The competition that takes place every year in Anchorage, Alaska, had to move the race a little bit more north. The Iditarod Mushers began their 1,000-mile race in Fairbanks, Alaska, along a new route on Monday. To get the race going, snow had to be trucked in and paid down the route of the Mushers. Snow sculptures that were made by the snow already present from the event had to be imported as well from other areas. Many mushers had to withdraw from the race because there was not enough snow to train their teams. That's your sports update for today. I'm Nuran Yumnu. Back to you, Rachelle.
Thank you, Nuran. I'm Rachelle Semplonius, and that's your news for the day.